we decided to go into the Florida Everglades in the middle of the night. Our main goal is to find as many different species of reptile as possible. While driving to the wetlands, we came across our first find, a scarlet snake. Even though these guys have bright colors, they're actually non-venomous. Our first location to try to find some cool creatures was in a campground in the Everglades. We did see some gators, but you're not allowed to catch those, and we also saw lots of fish. Basically, every single body of water had plenty of fish, and these right here are pleco, and that right there is a bass. Our second capture of the night was a house gecko. We found this tiny little guy near the outdoor bathroom of the campground. These guys are very common to find, however, they're still pretty cool to look at. After we all got a chance to hold them, it was then time to move deeper into the Everglades.
There we go.
Things were about to get a whole lot crazier. After a little bit of driving, we arrived at our next location. By the way, this is Landon. He's the expert. He gave us a whole rundown on what to look out for. And it wasn't long before Landon saw something very bright and vibrant in a tree. It seems we have found our very first Cuban Nano. This guy was still super high up in the tree, so Landon decided to scare him down with his pole. This was a bit of a tricky task, but he was able to get him onto a smaller tree. In just a minute here, you'll be able to get a closer look. It honestly blew my mind on how vibrant this guy was. And on top of that, this thing was absolutely huge. Landon said you also got to be very careful when capturing these guys because they have a nasty bite. And the thing is, when these guys bite, they don't let go, unlike other reptiles. Now, if you guys know me, I can be a bit of a jackass, so I had to see how strong his bite was. And let's just say this little dragon definitely lived up to his expectations. Once he lashed onto my hand, he would not let go.
I give that bite like a 6 out of 10.
Dude, he is latched on.
Oh, he doesn't want to let go. I think he does.
Even after 5 minutes, this guy was still hanging onto my hand. And as you can see, I was not too pleased. This was probably not the greatest idea.
How does that feel?
It kind of sucks. I want him to let go. Ah! Bro! No, get it off! This is a terrible idea. What was I thinking?
You have to...
Okay, I raise it.
Pretty strong bite, but I'm sure there's worse things in the Everglades to get bit by. While walking in the woods, I looked up and there was an owl in my face, and for anyone wondering, this is an eastern screech owl. Of course, the question was, how close could I get? I stuck my finger out and eventually flew over to another branch, but of course, I was still curious and I wanted another look. This was my closest encounter with any wild owl, and it seems we have made a new friend. After we got our cool shots, we continued our search, and that's when we found our very first chameleon.
Alright, we just caught our first chameleon of the night.
And for anyone wondering, this was a juvenile male veiled chameleon. And as you can see here, I had some luck catching a green iguana. As common as these guys are, they're still really cool to look at. That's when we spotted another chameleon, but this time we found a female. And from what Landon told me, it was the largest female chameleon he has ever found. In this clip right here, she's sleeping, but look at her colors change once she wakes up. Clearly, she is not happy that we just woke her up from her beauty sleep. A few minutes later, we spotted another green antelope, but this time was my time to catch it. Now, when capturing these guys, you gotta grab them behind the head so they can't turn around and bite you in the finger. And as you can see here, he's doing his very best to get me, but he had no luck. I'm gonna be honest, I would love one of these things as a pet. Moments later, Landon spotted a colossal chameleon way up in a tree, but it wasn't long before he found something else. Somehow he was able to capture one of the world's fastest lizards, the brown ballast.
Oh, catch that thing!
These lizards are able to run so fast that they could actually run on water. And of course, me being me, I had to see on how strong his bite was.
Ooh.
Pretty strong, but not nearly as strong as the other lizard. It took Landon about 30 minutes to go climb this tree, but I'm telling you it was worth it. Look how large this chameleon was. That was our very last find of the night, and make sure to follow for our next video in the Everglades. You won't want to miss it.